G'day, I'm Gina and I'm one of the cast members of the very first series of Alone Australia. Every week I'll be making a YouTube video with a recap of the week's episode and also taking some Q&A about my experience, but also the experience of just being out there and any questions about the show. So send in your questions and hopefully I can get to yours next week. Episode 3. Oh my goodness, it's getting so exciting. I'm so stoked that we got to meet 2 of the 3 remaining cast members. We got to meet Dwayne and Kate. We still have Michael to go next week. And we got to adventure with 5 of us. So it looks like, because I'm finding this out by watching it, it looks like we're getting to 5 people per episode. This week we got to see Dwayne, we got to meet Dwayne, and Dwayne is, he's amazing, he's a legend, he's a larrikin, he's funny. He's the one that you see like surf skating all over the slimy moss logs and then face planting in one of the promo videos. He's also a proud First Nations man, and he brings all of that humility and all of that depth of relationship with country to the show. One of the things that we didn't see was his acknowledgement of country. He posted a little story saying that he had actually done that and that he wished that that would have been shown. So thank you, Dwayne, for bringing that and bringing all of your wisdom to the country, the Palawa country in Lutruwita on Alone. We also saw Dwayne eat, I think they were millipedes, and have a bit of a reaction which burnt his tongue for a couple of hours. I have an experience, another tongue experience of when I was on a survival quest foraging a bit of ocean bush tucker that I thought was edible and testing a little bit of it on my tongue, and 20 barbs got shot into my tongue, tiny little clear barbs, which a friend of mine had to pull out with tweezers. It's a very funny video. I think it's up on one of my socials. So yeah, check that out for a laugh and see what not to do. So yeah, Dwayne's learning like the rest of us. Yeah, does it look good? Give it a go. Oh shit. We also connected in again with Mike. He's Outback Mike on his socials and on YouTube. Now, Mike is just like the most incredibly competent person, I think, on the show. We see him, first of all, playing with his body fat, which I can completely relate to, as I put on over 20 kilos for the show. And I think you saw in episode 2, me not able to sit up without rocking and having a hilarious time with that. So yeah, I can really relate to him, sort of like playing with his body, going, oh my God, this is just so weird. But like he said, he has 30 days grace on his body. And I can really say that putting on weight for Alone and going in with that survival mindset has totally changed my relationship with body fat, because it is survival gold. Like without fat, you have to go out and find calories, and it really upends and turns over the like the messages that we get from the media about fat. You know, that fat. All the things that we get told about fat. Now I am absolutely like cheering for the body fat that I have, because I know if the zombie apocalypse comes tomorrow, I'll be set. What else did Mike get up to? He found some grubs in a tree, had a pretty interesting experience with an axe, and that's another thing that, you know, edged weapons out there are probably the biggest risk that all of us face. Like to be starving, to be calorie deficient, starvation stupidity, starvation brain, that's it. Starvation brain is real. Once our glycogen drops and once the sugar in our brain drops, before we turn over onto ketosis, there is this lag of basically brain function dropping fast. So when you combine that with having saws and axes and fish hooks, which we need to survive, it's a recipe for accidents. I'm very, very pleased to see that Mike did not hurt himself in that moment, but you could see it on his face, couldn't you? It's like, oh shit, yeah, it's time for me to stop doing this. What else? He kept going making his kayak, he got fishing, he made some tools, he made a vise. He's such an awesome all-round guy. I'm really looking forward to seeing what else he comes up with. Like, he's going to MacGyver his whole camp, I'm sure. And we met Kate. I'm so glad you get to meet Kate. Kate is an awesome human. And we see Kate with a really instantly fabulous shelter. She gets out and she gets fishing right away, and she catches an eel. And watching that sequence with her with the eel, I was laughing so hard because it was just like, oh no, she's going to hurl for sure. And let me tell you that boiling eel is probably the most disgusting way that you can eat eel. There are definitely more appetizing ways to eat eel than that. And poor old Kate, watching her choke that down, my heart was going out for her, and my mirror neurons were actually making me start to go as well. Looking forward to seeing what else Kate gets up to. I love her attitude. She's really positive. She's a scientist. Check her out, Dr. Kate Grarock, on various things, and she's got a YouTube channel. It's definitely worth checking out as well. We got to hang out with Peter. Now, be kind about Peter, please, because Peter had a really rough trot. He copped the short straw in terms of his sight. I thought the mud in my sight was bad, but honestly, what Pete's going through out there is absolutely horrific. And think about it, every time you take a step in mud, it's like having someone wrapped around your legs trying to pull you backwards. If you've only got 10 steps in mud, then, that's hard enough. But when you've got probably like half a kilometre of it, that's pretty horrible to be walking through every day. I've also seen some comments about why was he out hunting in the day when the animals are nocturnal? Pete's a hunter. He's a tracker. He was out looking for animals' sign so that he could then go out and make some traps and do what he does. And so his whole exploration of his site was to exhaust the possibilities available to him in that moment. So if then there isn't any food on land, then he can go into the food in water. But because food on land is his jam, of course he's going to explore that first. When he injured himself and injured his knee, and you can see when they're strapping it up, his knee is quite blown up. It absolutely makes sense for him to tap, because it's hard enough walking through mud, which sticks you in place and twists your joints when your joints are healthy. If you have an injury of your knees or ankles in mud, you could actually damage yourself permanently. So my heart goes out to Pete for the site, and I'm kind of like, I love the fact that he even swore more than Beck, how very Aussie, and really sad to see him go. And then we get to Chris. Now, Chris has had a really interesting journey as well. We got to cheer him catching a fish. I think all of us were like, yes, when he got that fish. It was like the whole of the viewership were just like, yes. And his excitement and his joy is palpable. But Chris also opens up when he's weaving his net and starts to talk about PTSD in a really beautiful way that I think is really important, especially for men to see like an army dude, like an Aussie guy talking about mental health issues on camera. So again, really looking forward to seeing how Chris, keeps going with all of this and how his journey unfolds. Is that everyone? I think that's everyone. Let me have a look. Hey, Peter. Yeah. Okay, so that's everybody. I wasn't in this week's episode. And that was interesting as well, because then I just got to explore and enjoy everybody else's journey. And I'm also looking forward to seeing what happens next week. And we get to meet Michael next week as well. That's all from me. SBS On Demand, 7:30 on Wednesday nights. Hope to see you out in the wild places.